Welcome to the WBAP 820 570 KLIF Weather Podcast from the Cumulus Broadcast Center in Dallas-Fort Worth. I'm Chief Meteorologist Brad Barton. Thank you for being with us again this week. Of course, we can't ignore the massive historic blizzard that struck Boston and many of the big northeastern coastal areas this past weekend. Probably the worst blizzard since 1978. 24 inches of snow up there, 70-mile-per-hour winds. Glad we're in North Texas, but we have some things to get ready for as well, including some winter weather coming up this week. First of all, let's start off with our radar view this morning. We have an upper-level low, and you can see a little swirl right around Abilene that's kicking up some Pacific moisture, basically, that's running from Mexico on into north and east Texas. Now, the Dallas-Fort Worth area may see a few sprinkles out of this, nothing really heavy. We notice that as this band of rain continues to move to the northeast on Monday morning, that it continues to kind of fizzle out as it moves closer to the Dallas-Fort Worth area. However, this is just what a little upper-level swirl in the atmosphere can do every now and then. If it gets support from some other system or gets moisture from another source, say the Gulf, well, that'd be a whole different situation. As it is, things are pretty minor. In fact, Monday and Tuesday in the Dallas-Fort Worth area look much warmer than normal, even though there will be some clouds. Lots of clouds, as a matter of fact. Our satellite picture this morning, you can see it switching over to the visible satellite view at about 8:30 to 9 o'clock as the lights go out. A lot of clouds, so not the prettiest of days, but again, with temperatures well up into the 60s in Dallas-Fort Worth. A couple of days to prepare for an outbreak of winter. Here's what our weather map is looking like as of tomorrow morning. This is Tuesday morning. There are two fronts. One is a Pacific front you see across the Panhandle, plus a little dry line trailing south of that. And then the main Arctic front is up in the Dakotas, beginning to move down. And that is one of those things that is going to be reaching the Dallas-Fort Worth area at midweek. Now we move the map ahead to Tuesday night. Still no rain in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but the Pacific front is beginning to move on through into central Texas right now, and a much stronger Arctic air mass is pointed at Texas. If you notice, way up in the northern, kind of the upper left-hand corner of the screen, you see a 1046. That's an intensely high-pressure, powerful, high-pressure zone of Arctic air that's been developing in the Yukon and in the Northwest Territories of Canada. That's where our worst cold air comes from, and it's going to be moving this way before long. As we move the maps ahead, this is Wednesday morning. Now you see a 1048 high across the Canadian border. Massive Arctic high moving in. Rain begins in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Winds begin to shift around to the west and then to the northwest. This is Wednesday morning. And the high temperature that day, about 52 degrees, then colder air starts moving in that evening. By Thursday morning, we are going to be covered up in probably first an area of freezing rain that will begin Wednesday night into Thursday morning. And then as the cold air gets deeper and deeper, because it's a shallow air mass first and warm, moist air overruns it, so we start with some freezing rain late Wednesday night, and then as the cold air mass gets deeper and deeper, turns to sleet and then to snow. So this takes us through Thursday morning. We're going to head and move to Friday morning. We're just dealing with the cold air now. But again, that's not going to melt anything off. Again, Friday is going to be a high probably in the 20s with lows in the teens Saturday morning. So whatever is on the streets will stay on the streets. Whatever falls on the streets Wednesday night into Thursday, ice, sleet, or snow, will probably stay at least on the bridges and overpasses for some time. And, we don't have big snow plows, so it's going to have to kind of melt off under the sunlight. But it's not going to warm up, really, until the weekend. And that's one of the things you want to remember. The potential ice accumulation doesn't look too impressive, maybe a tenth of an inch or so. But when you add sleet or snow on top of that, then you can wind up with, maybe half an inch to an inch of total accumulation on bridges and overpasses, less so on the surface streets because they're slower to freeze. However, it's going to be a problem. You need to be prepared for this, that's for sure. The Weather Service has some great ideas here. You certainly want to leave faucets dripping if they're prone to freeze. You might carry some rock salt or kitty litter in your car in case you get stuck. Of course, the best idea would be not to get out at all during this. Plenty of firewood in case you do have a power outage, candles, be careful about those. We don't want a house fire. Also, of course, don't use any generators where some of that carbon monoxide could get into the house. And a good idea to top off your tank, like everybody else in Dallas-Fort Worth is doing before the worst of the weather gets here. So our forecast is for some clouds and spotty showers, heaviest in central Texas on Monday. A decent day Tuesday with a high of 67, and then things begin to change on Wednesday, cloudy, windy, and turning cooler, with rain likely by afternoon, changing to freezing rain and sleet, probably late Wednesday night into Thursday morning, and then we're going to be dealing with some wintry weather Thursday and Friday, but we'll be coming out of it on Saturday. Take care. We'll be back with you next time from the Cumulus Weather Center in Dallas-Fort Worth. I'm Brad Barton. Thanks for watching.